Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Everybody's already, most people have joined already.
Oh, yeah. Is there anybody new around there?
Anybody want to, everybody looks familiar on my first page.
We got Chris Con.
Hello there, folks. Chris Caldwell here from Sassafras up in Melbourne.
Oh, cool. Hi.
Hi there. Hi, Paul.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Chris. How are you?
All right, thanks. Good.
Good. All right. Well, we can. I guess we'll start. Let me get to the. Nick, how are you?
Good, Paul. Good to see
Yeah.
you.
All right. So here's the Wednesday night meeting. Loose term of non-duality. So obviously, the way we look at it is non-duality. The primary direction is a negation, not an affirmation. And the assumption that it's based on, so there's an assumption and then it moves to negation. The assumption is you and I are what we're looking for. Yeah. If that isn't clear, then you won't have the clarity of why the negation is so seamless. Because we're not talking about anything else. We're talking the assumption of non-duality is you are what you're looking for, that you are that, and that's that. And therefore, obviously, with that as the assumption, which is a fact, then the only approach there would be in any place where there would be an approach would be a negation of a negation of that which was taken to be so that you would see through that and then you would find out what you are, which is what you're looking for. So it doesn't really break, it doesn't turn, it doesn't do a wide turn and start going into the affirming of the indescribable and stuff like that, because why would you need a description of what you are? I mean, obviously, you need a description of what you're not, so that you can see it from what you are, because you've never not been seeing from what you are. And it's sort of like we had a gathering last weekend, and the idea that the head holds is that when they hear the message they're not the doer, they think that just happened. In other words, they were the doer the whole time, and now they're not the doer. But there was never a doer. See, that's the assumption of you are what you're looking for doesn't give room for anything else. Yeah, it's a fact that overrides all the false assumptions. So if you keep whatever is said at the talk, if you can go back to the basic assumption where things start from, which is we are what we're looking for, or just I am, then you'll see the clarity of negation. Just like they used to do a thing in the Vedas, they had a thing called neti neti, not this, not this, because basically you are this. So the only way you would arrive at where you already are is by not this, not this, not this, not this, not this, not this. It's sort of the weird way how if you get ill in America, they really never diagnose what you have. They deny all these other possibilities of what you could have, and then they fall upon what you have. They don't usually go right to what you have. They say, well, it's not staph, it's not fucking psoriasis, it's not this. Oh, wait a minute, it could be this, because they winnow the field down to basically no possibility. So in a sense, why would you want to go through your whole life neti neti? Because a lot of things are going to appear. So the speed of non-duality is you're not all the thoughts that are appearing, you're not the thinker of them. Yeah? So it whacks the idea of being the thinker, it whacks the idea of being the feeler, it whacks the idea of being the seer, because who'd want to spend all day going, not this, not this? You know, you'd be at the restaurant and the person would bring what you ordered for breakfast and you would go, not this. Then they take it back, bring you pancakes, not this. Then fucking French toast, not this. Then an omelet, not this. You know, it'd be a drag living here. Yeah, not this, not this. There's an assumption that there's pancakes and there's eggs. Yeah. So the idea of like going over every doing to see if there was a doer is just a lot more doing in a sense. So you just hit the pressure point, so to speak. It's sort of like when they're going to blow up a building and they're pros at it. Not that I've ever done it, but they can see the weakness of the construction, and that's where they put the load, and then bammo, and then the whole freaking thing collapses. Well, this is non-duality. It's not like blowing, the third floor, room 302, and then blowing the fifth floor. It just fucking goes to the premise, and if you see the premise isn't solid, then the house of cards collapses, yeah? Even though you'll see it collapses. It's weird. It's not like in a way, it's weird. It's not like a dreaming. It's more like a mirage. You see that there isn't any water hole, but when you're walking around, you see it and it looks the same. Even though you're clear it doesn't exist, it's appearing to exist. It's sort of like that. Yeah. So this whole premise is, and if you're not, just let's start there. If you've never been here before, do you have a sense, or maybe it could be true, that you are what you're looking for? Because that's what gives meaning to what comes after. If you don't see that, well, you don't understand. So like when people don't hear that, when they start entertaining not being a doer as a doer, they think they're not going to do anything. They're just going to lay on a couch and fucking rot there. Hopefully they'll have a pizza number on the phone, get delivery of food. Because their whole narrative is that they were the doer, and that's why life has happened. It's the whole basis of the storyline. So the idea is not that you were the doer, you were the doer just before you came in here, but now that you're in this Zoom square, you're not the doer. No, suddenly there's been a transformation. No, it's a fact you are not the doer, you never were the doer. And this is what confuses people, because they truly believe without them, nothing would be happening. Yeah? Yet, in fact, nothing is happening, but I mean on another relative level, nothing would be happening. So they go into wild contortions when they hear the idea that they may not be something they've been based on their whole life, which is, I'm just going to take LSD, 5 hits of LSD, if I'm not the doer. Or I'm going to, you know what I mean? You're not going to do that. You're going to go home, have your tea, probably watch a rerun of Breaking Bad or something, and going to go to sleep. Yeah, it's like the same old, it's going to go on. Because it wasn't that way because there's a doer, and it's not going to be another way because there's not a doer. Because there's not been a doer. And that's how it looked, yeah? There was a lot of doing, but as Lord Buddha supposedly said, events are happening, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof, yeah? So if you have a memory of an event and a deed that was done, and Lord Buddha, carries any cred for you, he just cut your knees off. He said, yeah, events happen, deeds are done, but there was no individual doer thereof. What? That's my whole life story as what I'm not, yeah? So the whole point is, okay, the assumption, you are what you're looking for. And obviously, if you are what you're looking for, then it would question the idea of using thought and effort to arrive there, yeah? Maybe the thought and effort to arrive there is a way of disguising it not being there, yeah? This is the assumption, and then the investigation takes off from that assumption. So now you start just hearing information and seeing where it lands, yeah? And that one bit of information will lead to another bit of information and lead to another bit of information. And suddenly, you'll have a very clear line from the assumption, I am what I'm looking for. Therefore, I can't be busy looking for it. You know? You know what I mean? But it's so beautiful, the system, because you are what you're looking for. Even though the looking for it doesn't cause a failure, because you still are what you're looking for. Yeah, you are that. It doesn't matter what you think is happening. It doesn't change what is. Yeah, and that's the real relaxation of it all. Can you imagine if you had an assurance not based on external conditions and circumstances? You just knew. You just knew, yeah, and it was open to debate and suspicion and questioning, and it's withstood all of the kinds of weird investigations the mental state can apply to it, and it still just stands on its own still. You are what you're looking for. Therefore, the looking for it won't be of service. It's all based on that. You can't just go, you got to stop looking for it. No. You have to have the premise first. You are what you're looking for. That's why, and the thing is, you don't stop looking for it. You realize you're not that which is looking for it. Yes, that's the beauty. Yeah? Because before, see, when I first heard it and someone corrected me, it immediately went to the other thing that, all right, I've got to stop looking for it. No, I saw that was bullshit too. You got to see you're not that. What's that thinks it stops looking for it or continues to look for it. You're neither, yeah? You're neither of the Bopsy twins. Yeah, you're not this or that. So when that's clear, then you'll start see the statements like whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving. And it's very simple. It's only like one sentence with one word in it twice, yeah? In different demonstrations. One is perceived and one is perceiving. And it's very clear, Huang Po says, whatever can be perceived, so he starts out with what's going to be negated, yeah? Whatever can be perceived can't be perceived. You see it? The movement of negation, you see? It didn't say you are that which is perceiving and you're not that which can be perceived. It doesn't go that direction. It doesn't say you are that which is perceiving and you're not that which is perceived. Oh no, more fucking guilt and shame about being that which is perceived. No, it's saying what can be perceived cannot be perceiving. Do you see the feeling of it? It's completely different. One is sort of like a call to arms. The other delivery is like a disarming, yeah? You just tell the truth. Jesus Christ. My whole head story, that K-Paul that I've had a subscription to since I was 5 or 6, is completely based on that which can be perceived. The body of Paul is what's perceiving. I mean, Jesus, don't you think, could you imagine if you heard that and you really heard it and then you'd ask a question in a second? No, you would take the body blow. The body blow, it wouldn't be just one. You'd get a couple of shots. You'd be like, what? Because you've been listening to something that's based on the complete opposite assumption. It's saying what's perceived is also what's perceiving. So you are the seer. You are the hearer, the feeler, the taster, the toucher. Yeah. When in fact it's not true. Yeah. So, all right, the assumption is I am that I am, let's say. I am. All right, now lay it on me. With that understanding, I receive the next sentences. Yes? You cannot use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. You cannot use light to seek light. You cannot use mind to seek mind. So on that statement, you are of mind, big mind, of light, and of Buddhahood. Yes? That's why you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. It's not like, being a spiritual kid getting sent to your room because you were fucking using the Buddha to seek the Buddha. No, it's very, very clear. You're the Buddha. Yes, that's the assumption. And then that which would look like, what the fuck? I just spent 30 years trying to use Buddhism to seek the Buddha. Fuck. Yeah. Now, that may land differently if you had the first assumption clear. Doesn't mean you know it, you've just heard it. And you're allowing it to sit there. And maybe its scent and aroma will affect you. Yeah, you are what you're looking for. The seeker is the sought. You can't use yourself. Why? Because you are that. Yeah, you can't use the Buddha because you are the Buddha. You can't use mind because you are mind. It just explains immediately. You can't use light because you are light. When something uses light to find what it already is, that would be the greatest blindness. Yes or no? Obviously. But all premise that you're light, you're Buddha, your mind. That's where the sense is. The logic is seamless. Yeah? And so the negation just negates, and more of that which gets negated, the more sense of what you are becomes obvious. Yes? It's just that simple. Now maybe other people will say, all right, you've listened to 5, let's say, links of this negation. On the 6th link, okay, it's time to have an experience of what you are. It's time to have a deep understanding of what you are. It's time to get to the radical ultimate sense of what you are. Yeah, what's going to happen is that's going to probably fail you, and you'll be brought back to the same seamless logic. Yeah? I've watched it. I've seen it in other people. So, all right. And that's why, like we were reading the other day about Ramana, when he talked about a couple of things, and he says the only value in those questions is to use that question to ask who is it that has the question. Truly. Why is that? Once again, because you're not here to acquire knowledge for you. You're here to have knowledge of what you're not. Yeah? So let's say the questioner, that's the starting point, is what you're not. You don't want to feed it too much. Yeah? Especially like spirituality. It's very high in sugar content. You'll get an imaginary rush, but it doesn't really last long. So, all right. Well, if you want to start, we'll open up the floodgates.
Anybody want to raise their hand?
I want to share one thing, Mike. It was very good the other day. Somebody was asking us at this meeting, is there selfing and dreaming? And then we said, when you wake up. That's exactly what we're talking about.
I was
There's
wondering
no
about that.
sense of self. There's no sense of selfing while dreaming. It comes up when you wake up out of that, and now then the mental state claims it. Now you're the dreamer. Yeah? You don't need to see it 800,000 times. See it a few times, and you'll recognize it. You'll recognize its movement. Yeah? It's sort of like recognizing a cat's movement, let's say a cheetah. Okay, you see it a few times. Now when this cheetah has a sheep costume, you can tell by the way the sheep's moving it's a fucking cheetah. Yeah? When it has another costume, like a cow costume, you know it's a cheetah by the way it's moving. Yeah? You don't have to go through every one of them. You recognize the pattern. And then you're seeing what you're not. Yeah? Yeah. All right.
Couldn't we say also that the dreaming is happening to ask the question?
You can say that, but I don't want to because I don't want the question. No, I don't mind the questions. Of course it does. And
Yeah, no,
also,
I just
ask
meant specifically
questions in
that
the
question.
dreaming may be prolonging something in time.
Yeah, no, I just meant specifically that question, and not necessarily at that time, but just right now to suggest that.
Yeah, yeah. No, actually I like Zoom. Zoom's fine. I can get here like 30 seconds before. I don't have to get dressed. I lay in the bed. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's keep zooming. All right. You want to start, Mike?
Yeah, we did. We told them. We asked them. No hands though. Oh, John K.
John?
Hey, Paul. Yeah, boy, man, you're going here tonight. This is great. But one of the things you said,
Oh my.
so sorry about this, man. Every time I try to talk to you, there's it's like the second observer is what I'm trying to get to. How you've said it before, like that. Like you see the movement, and then there's either a claiming of that seeing or there's not a claiming of that seeing. And when there's a claiming of that seeing, you're just caught in the thief policeman, you know, not, unhelpful situation. And when there's not a claiming of the seeing, then it's like not unhelpful. And my question is like, I'm starting to see, or it's starting to be apparent that there's claiming of the seeing, and that really is just, it's just unhelpful. And then sometimes there's a seeing that doesn't get claimed. It's just there. And there's a non-tension associated with that second kind of seeing, but there's all kinds of non-tensions that are claimed and stuff. It's not the fact that it's not tense. That's not essential. But I'm trying to I'm just like getting a glimpse almost of like the seeing of there's like a seeing of the movement that isn't claimed, and that's just wonderful. That's great. And then there's a seeing of the movement that's just claimed, and now and what a problem. And then sometimes you see the movement and there's a problem, and it's a problem. The movement is a problem, and I'm in a problem, and how can I get out of this problem? And I can see that I'm in a problem, but I'm still in a problem. That kind of seeing isn't helpful. I don't have a question exactly, but I'm trying to get my head around this.
Yeah, well, don't try that.
Okay.
Yeah, just let it happening. See, sometimes you're at the sentence of the story where you're at. Don't jump ahead to the next chapter. But then see, there's the idea of claiming is just a mechanical activity. Yeah. Yes. When there's a sudden feeling that you're the claimer, then there's that feeling. When that mechanical claiming occurs and doesn't win over the audience of what you are, then it's free of it. Yeah. The claiming happens, but something else occurs that makes it what it is. The claiming doesn't make it what it is. The claiming implies there's a someone. It's sort of like the hand just puts itself into the glove and starts living as the glove, or the hand just sees what's happening. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's us. We're the audience, so to speak. Not us as John and Paul, but us. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So the claiming is an activity that implies something, but what it implies has to be bought by us, so to speak. So that's why this whole thing is a loss of interest. It's not a stopping claiming. It's a loss of interest in the claiming because it's not fulfilling its intent, which is to imply the claimer. Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like the claiming puts on a show, and you're just like, okay, you're not. It's like, okay, that's the show. That's the claiming show. Let's turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, it's a point. Like there was a thing we made a little story out of a Monty Python skit. Yeah. So they're coming. They have safari outfits and canteens, and they're coming through this bush, and they come out into an opening, and they realize they have no water and no food. And then a second later, they realize there's a film crew filming them, and they have sandwiches and water. So now, and now the film crew, yeah. Well, then there's another film crew, yeah.
I
It
remember the
doesn't
episode.
end.
Yeah.
It doesn't end. What happens is, the audience like looks away, so to speak, because of lack of interest. So the mechanical thing can't set this little thing of the seer, which is the objectified self, and the seeing, the seer, and the seen. So suddenly the old seer is now the seen. You're seeing ego or self, and yet you think you're the seer. But that's also just a self. Yeah. Because remember, we're in an event of duality. So there's not. The selfing doesn't imply just one self; it implies two. Yeah.
Yes.
Like we say, the thief, and the policeman. They go hand in hand. The whole Punch and Judy show can't go on without Punch and Judy. It's just not Judy or Punch. It's Punch and Judy. And then Punch and Judy are trying to get the audience's attention because that's what gives them a huge budget.
Yes.
And now Punch and Judy can leave that little cardboard box and really fucking go to town.
Yeah.
Plus, they got a big producer now, us, backing them because we're believing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. See, a lot of what happens is the first sense of self gets noticed, but then the identification gets rooted in the second, the noticer. Yeah. And then there's confusion about how that translates because they don't feel like they're traveling lighter or they're ease and comfort. And they're wondering why. They thought they saw the thief. Why is their house still getting robbed? Well, because the thief and the policeman are in cahoots. Yeah. You can't throw one out. You got to, the other one's in the house. So you got to check it out. Yeah. Once you start seeing that, then the loss of when you lose interest in the objectified self, that interest goes to the subjective self. But when you lose interest in both, that doesn't go to either of them. The interest goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interest in the objectified self. And then, oh, no, you get, oh, this isn't good. This is causing me not to have relationship, whatever. But all that interest, it goes to the observing self, which is the same package. It's the same deal.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not translating. When people say, oh, I'm the observer. Yeah, but they're still getting punched out. They're still feeling the body blows.
Yes.
They're identified with that's feeling the body blows. So no, I don't believe in the witness or the observer stuff. I don't believe it. Yeah, I believe all of us. It's sort of like we're all rivering, and not one of us ever gets out of the rivering to observe and reflect on the rivering. Or no one ever gets out of the dreaming as the dreamt to reflect on the dreaming. It's all that idea of being the observer of the dreaming is the dreaming. It's part of it. There's no escape, so to speak. Yeah. You can't get out of the contract. The cherishing of self has changed all the fine print. Yeah. What I feel, all that the shifts are a reshuffling of interest that you can't do. Yeah. Because that would be interest in you again. So there's a reshuffling of interest, just hearing a simple message that, hey, maybe the assumption is, let's start with you are what you're looking for, and then let's look at how all the looking for it has worked. It hasn't worked that well. That's because you are what you're looking for. It's not you were bad, you were a terrible meditator or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, you are what you're looking for. If that's not true with you, then there's other vehicles, but that's
Yeah.
that's the bus stop of non-duality, really. Yeah. Yeah. It's hopefully that you hear some statements that land or like put on some spiritual shoes.
Mhm.
They you don't know what product they are or nothing. Then, but you realize they fit, and you're walking around. Then you read, and underneath it, it says you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. You got the non-duality slippers now. The other paths are like hiking shoes and fuck like that.
Golf shoes.
Running
Yeah.
shoes, hiking shoes, mountain climbing shoes. Non-duality is a pair of slippers.
Yeah.
You can chill for a little while. Let everything get, and then see how it looks. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I thought I was the meditator, my whole story at that point, and was getting momentum, was I was the meditator. There was no way I could really look at meditation and see it maybe performing a disservice because it's reinforcing the meditator.
Yeah.
Because that whole investment in that story, yes, my head was invested in the story. It didn't want to be shown up. You can hear it from what you're not. You hear it from what you are, and then it translates into what you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're not doesn't want to hear this message, obviously, because it pulls out the rug from it. Yeah. It's not saying the emperor has no clothes. There was no emperor and no clothes ever. Yeah. See, when you say, oh, the emperor has no clothes, means, well, I did have clothes and I can have clothes.
Yeah.
Give it wiggle room. But non-duality is just like, just put it on it and you watch it squirm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope. That's what it did with me. I mean, I ended up hearing these message, and maybe it had a lot to do with it, maybe it had nothing to do with it, but all the seeking stopped. And it seemed to coincide when I heard this message. Not that when I was listening to it, I mean, I heard it. It got through. And at that point, from what I'm not, that seemed like a perilous idea, because what I'm not, its fragile condition was based on spiritual practices and shit. I thought I was keeping myself in good spiritual fitness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was a threat to that whole identity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sort of like there's a statement with Ramana where he says the greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. All right. And so let's say the only way, again, how could that ever happen? Well, reality must be taking itself as something else, yes? Obviously. For it to want to attain reality, it has to be taking itself to be something other than reality, or a part of reality, or a drop of reality. It wants to meet the ocean. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what happens is when it keeps trying to pursue that, it comes to a recognition that something's obscuring reality from me, and it sort of lands on you, I mean, it seems to be Paul is obscuring reality to the reality Paul. Yeah. So here you go. Now, Paul, the only way you can see I'm going to attain reality, Paul's got to be destroyed. Yeah. Now, how do you think Paul's going to get on with that idea? Yeah, if it's on the spiritual path with you, it's going to fucking drag its heels. Hey, let's stop there and do tantric yoga for a while. Let's go here. Fucking do naked meditation with only beautiful babes, whatever.
Right.
It's gonna really, there's going to be a cognitive dissonance, because the way its fucking reptilian logic is, if I go anywhere near reality, I'm destroyed. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why would you? That to me is, you want a spiritual bypass that fucking for sure. Yeah. So I mean, you're thinking you want to go one way, but a whole large part of your committee wants to go the other way. Yeah. It's sort of like when you're dreaming of what it's like going to be at the 4-week retreat. You're dreaming in a subjective manner. Yes. This will be my stepping stone to a higher level, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
But when you get to the 4-week retreat, it's the objective self that starts bitching because its fucking left cheek is hurting. And it says, when it realized, I don't want to sit here for 12
Yes,
hours.
yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
the first day or two you're there, everyone has
Yeah.
a very beautiful
Oh, yeah, yeah.
aesthetic, one little piece and with a little pillow. After
Yeah.
5 days, you come into the meditation hall, there's
Yeah.
mountains of fucking pillows to get that
Yep.
left cheek up.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
This is subject objectness. This is duality. Yeah? You dream of what's going to happen to you through the retreat as a subject, and then you experience it as the object. And it sucks for the fucking ass to sit
Yes.
13 hours a day.
Mhm.
Yeah. But then you leave the retreat, and then the subjective gets into the narrative. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to sign up for another
Yeah.
6-month retreat. The
Yeah.
fucking ass, if it had a voice, it'd be screaming.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get a lot of bike pants, bicycle shorts with
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'll just put them on underneath my wipes when I go into the hall. Little balloons from my rear end. So, we're just questioning that subject objectness. Yeah, that's based on the assumption you are what you're looking for. What causes what you are to look for itself is like a dualistic shutter. Close, far. I can be connected, I can be disconnected. Yes?
Mhm.
So it's seeing, it's of one, but it's seeing through two. Yeah? And it's using the two, all the while being the one, to look for itself.
Yeah.
That's why it fails.
Yeah.
Now, if you like to meditate and do that, it's great. I just joke around about it, but I know just like if I have high blood pressure, maybe sitting for 10 minutes helps it. If I'm sitting for 13 hours, I think I'm going somewhere. Yeah. The subject is identified as the object, and it's thinking, this is the chariot of the gods, and I'm going to transcend as a body. That's not available on this menu,
Yeah.
So, all right, bro. It's good
Very
to see
cool.
you, John.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks again, John. Gary. Hi, Gary. Hi again, Gary.
Hi, Mike.
3.
Hey, Paul. Nice to meet
I
you
met
in
Gary.
person.
I
the
met
other day.
Gary. He came out of the corner, and I met him.
In person. That was good.
Nice to see you, Gary.
Nice to see you. So I'm sitting here waiting to or make my comment, but what you're talking about sort of takes the legs out from under me. But I'll make my comment anyway.
Yeah.
What you said at the beginning, the part that made sense to me was, well, there is no distance between, who I am and getting to who I am. There can't be any distance between where I am and getting there. That just hit home. The pointless of me trying to get home when I'm already home. There's no path between where I am and getting there. So that thought just hit to me. But then as I'm listening to you, I think like, wow, even the person who came up with that insight has no standing. So,
Well, a person doesn't have any standing in non-duality. It would be the disclaimer of the whole assumption. Yeah. I mean, really. It's sort of like having a... no. No, yeah. You'd have to recognize the absurdity of that, yeah.
yeah. I mean, even to ask the question, I have to get to a position where I can say, oh, I see something. But in doing so, I've taken a position That's one
Well, no,
stance.
but this is how it looks, but you're not of that. You're like the audience that's playing to, seriously. So it's going to do that. It's going to claim what's happening, the mental state. That's what it does. It's sort of like a seagull. It's a scavenger, yeah? Something happens and then it claims that happening to imply the seagull. Yeah. And it's greedy and it's voracious and it'll just, that's what it does. Yeah. The dilemma in duality is if you're firm in faith in being something that you're not, you're going to be in an active denial of what you are. Yeah. That's what happens. It doesn't have just one effect, it has a counter. Yeah. As the Course in Miracles would put it. Hey, being firm in faith in what you're not, yeah, you're actively denying what you are. Yeah,
Yes.
there's nothing right or wrong with it because it's not you actively denying. It's the head actively denying, and you can either be going along with it or not going along with it. It's not a choice. It's just how the flow's going. Yeah. And I'm telling you, the road of going along with it is strewn with a lot of fucking interest and attention. When you lose interest in that, other possibilities become available. Yeah? The whole show goes on, but you don't get up from the audience and start participating in it and being the butt of the whole joke of the Punch and Judy act. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then that which says it got up from the audience, you see as not you. That's all. That's the beauty of it. Yeah? So say whatever you want to say. It's an artistic expression, and you have the understanding underneath it. You don't have the words don't have to be right. It's the sense underneath it. Yeah. So yeah, the head's gonna claim it. Hallelujah. But you're a large part of the audience isn't buying it that much anymore. That's why instead of being a fucking stage drama, it's a comedy show. Yeah, you can laugh at yourself now.
Yes.
I mean, it's an incredible. It's got a wealth of fucking comic ore in that line. Yeah,
I think it's
I mean,
slapstick.
seriously, it's hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious, and it's all based on what the audience is taking it as. Yeah. Have you ever seen those movies where someone did it and they were really serious? But people see it as funny when it wasn't meant to be funny. They become like cult movies. So the audience is laughing at this person does his epic, he's worked 30 years, and then the people are laughing at from his view at inopportune times. Yeah. That guy, if he's identified as the director and the star, he's gonna be pretty bummed out if he can see it from their position. Just frame it as a comedy. Give up the drama story. When you release it, have it released as a comedy. But that's not what I was meaning. But hey, that's how it's going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
So what are you gonna not talk? See, if you believe that it's succeeding every day, you're gonna, what? You have to have duct tape on your mouth because every time I say something, I become identified. No, the saying that you're identified doesn't make it so. This is the beauty of non-duality. We may be working at trying to come around to that fact, but the fact is in place. You're not that. Yeah. You're not that which is claiming to be the doer. You're not that which is claiming to be the feeler. You're not. You never were, nor will you ever be. You've been going along with it without knowing it in some level. Now you know it. And so now you can start seeing it instead of looking from it. Yeah. And hopefully when somebody walks in the room, you have the ability to be fully attentive to them because you're not in la la land. Yes? You're available now. Yeah, because there isn't fucking any divine goal. You're not on a journey. Yeah? It's a journey of expression, not finding out. Yeah? You've already found out all you need to know. I'm not that. Now you've, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Good.
yeah,
Well,
no.
well, I was just thinking, it's kind of like, you know, when the mercury comes out of the thermometer, it's like trying to push on it, and it always spreads around, and you can never, you can never put any pressure on it. I don't know what that means, but that was the image that came to me. Like the mercury, it's always moving away from where I'm pressing on it. It's not taking the form that I think.
Yeah.
It's
And you're
like,
not that. That's great, man. How are you going to get a sense of what you are here unless you see what you're not? It's just it doesn't work. You can't see what you are from what you are. You can only see what you're not from what you are and get an intimation of that seeing, a sense of it. Yes?
yeah,
You're never going to have a photo album with you in it. You don't.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
it's not available. Yeah, that's why probably the head doesn't like the idea of being what it is. It can't get up to all these fucking shenanigans all day. Yeah, and
no,
you have
but
to realize the head much rather the head loves the idea of becoming self. It just doesn't want to be truthful about being self. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll go to tons of meetings and do very weird arcane exercises to become self, the big S, the truth, but being it isn't it's not that interesting to it. Yeah? I mean, there's very few people that have entertained non-duality that have blog posts. Yeah? That you follow their life every day. You just it doesn't there's no interest in it. You know what I mean? Now, I could have a blog post how I'm becoming the truth and fucking probably have thousands of followers. Yeah. But the fact is, I am the truth and fucking no one's interested.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I thought that following your blog would get me something or get me somewhere, I'd be there every day. But without
Yeah.
that,
You know what
yeah,
happened with me? There's a thing called Facebook Messenger. Yeah.
yeah,
I went to it and I started to respond to these things, and they were 4 years old. So I had to say, I'm sorry for the tardiness of the response, but I never come to Messenger, obviously. Now that isn't nice, really. I need to stay up on top of things, but it was sort of funny, yeah. So talk about a blog post. I would be the least interested in the blog post of all the other people. It would stop in like 2 days. How can you really describe traveling lighter? Maybe you can try to symbolize it with settings in Hawaii and shit. You can't describe traveling lighter. Yeah? It's not like a sunset that started and ends. It doesn't start or end. Yeah? It doesn't wait. It's like start. I'm traveling lighter, and then at 12 o'clock Wednesday night, it goes in another direction. No, there's just you can't really describe it. You can describe. You can be artistic around it. Yeah, I mean
yeah.
you can wax poetically. You can try to joke around a lot, whatever. But you can't describe it because you got to be living it. Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
And
yeah,
we are.
and we are. Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Nice to see
All
you,
right.
Gary. Say hello to your lovely wife, too.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. And Julie is up.
Julie.
And I like the no legs to stand on, but no escape. Oops.
Hi everyone. Hi Paul.
I'm trying to find you. Hold on.
Okay.
All right,
I'm up.
Julie. I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Okay. What I was learning, because I was trying to integrate, so that was the biggest thing for me. And what I heard this week that sort of landed well, I heard from somebody that helped me, was a mnemonic, and it was saying basically that your strongest point is always direct experience, where consciousness is aware of consciousness, right? And when it's not aware or that's not maintained, it's very, very easy for it to collapse on what it perceives. It could be a feeling in the body, a thought, a label, a judgment. And I thought, oh, thank you, because that helped me to realize how, you know, how much I have to really stay like in this stillness, right?
Do you believe you can? Do you believe you can actually do that, Julie?
Uh, well, hold on. Let me just finish this so I get it through. But I thought the mnemonic was really, well, in a way, yes, because what had happened. Okay, so the finish of this was the idea that when sunlight consciousness is reflected off of raindrops, you have a third effect, which is the rainbow. And the rainbow doesn't have any substance of its own, and it only seems to appear, right? And the ego is the rainbow. So when consciousness collapses on what it perceives, you get a third effect, which is the ego thinking that this is me, right? And I thought that's a lovely mnemonic, because it helped me to realize that you're never going to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? It's just not going to happen. But what had happened during this week or last week was the idea of death. It's bothered me my whole life, right? It had a lot of fear in the onset.
So it's
And then,
not death; it's the idea of death.
yes, it was, because what I realized was, wow, you know, when somebody passed away, the most obvious comment was, well, life goes on. And I could never get why life goes on if somebody's dying. You know, I see no point. But then I realized that life is always constantly changing. The idea of death is something that we've solidified into something that isn't really there, right? And now we're fighting against it, trying to prepare, to prevent. And I thought, how much
Who's
time
the
am I
we? Who's
wasting?
the we that's fighting against it?
Well, but that's what I'm trying to say. I stopped fighting against it because I thought how ridiculous it is to even worry about it. Because while you're fighting against it, you're not actually living at all. There's only this moment, in which, or let's just say there's not this moment. Let's just say there's only now to live. There's only this aliveness now. So I kept realizing, and I said it to somebody else yesterday, but only after I said it, I realized there's no past, there's no future. Right? But where is my head all the time? Well, it's in the past or in the future. And I started to realize you got to freaking relax, because you're putting so much energy in, you know, even today I realized before I got on the call, I'm running around thinking, okay, do you remember this? This is what you have to do. This is what you have to remember. And I'm thinking, why are you even doing that? You doing that? Because it felt to me as if I'm putting so much energy into a thought or preventing something or hoping this doesn't happen. And it started to just dawn on me that this is a whole lot of energy wasting, and it's not even in the right direction, because you're not achieving anything from this angle. None. You're not anywhere. You're just in the head somewhere, but you know what I mean. Anyway, that's all I had to say. It was just a reporting thing.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Travel well today. Anyone else?
Thank you, Julie. Joyce.
Joyce.
Joyce in San Francisco.
With her new phone.
Yeah, I'm practicing for tomorrow. I have a Zoom call. I had a question all designed, but the last question kind of threw me. It's about death also. And I know you don't want to talk about that, but today, the woman that I was taking care of for so long, she died in the nursing home. And it was really like a blessing because she was so, yeah, it was time. So I was thinking of all the non-duality kind of cliche stuff of, I mean, Jack, my teacher used to say, dying to her is like getting a haircut, you know, and I know if there's no, if you're not here, how can you die? And it's all this stuff. But then in some way, I guess to get to the point, in some ways, non-duality to me is like being an atheist, because there's nothing that's going to save you. Joyce is like, no.
Not being atheist.
It is. I feel like I have more in common with atheists and my sisters boarding again Christians.
But you're, honey. But for there to be an atheist, there's a person, yeah?
Yeah, but I guess no one's going to say, I mean,
Non-duality is
there's nothing
negating
more
that whole.
Joyce isn't going to come out victorious because there is no Joyce. And I say that and it's all okay, but I don't live that. And that's not natural. That's why we invented God, you know, we have to. So death kind of just puts that in my face. So that's where I'm thinking of, even with non-duality, I try to make up this, you know, where everything's going to be okay. But it's never. Go ahead. I'm digging it deeper.
Yes. Well, that's, yeah. Next person.
Thanks, Joyce. Brandon.
Hey, Paul, what's up, man? Just wanted to say thanks for putting the music up on the website.
Oh, yeah, great. Yes.
Yeah, and things are going well here. Don't really have a question, but just wanted to say my appreciation and gratitude for you and the platform and everything. I like how you called it the Urban Renewal Project getting called off.
Yes.
That seems to be it seems to have happened to me, but it seems like there's just a few workers that keep showing up, even though the project.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny.
You just have them build the same thing over and over again. Like the Tibetans that when they do the mandala in the sand,
yeah,
7 days, and at the end of it, they just squished all the sand around. Yes, that's what it's like.
Yeah. So it's great though. It's a huge relief. So yeah, that's I didn't really have a whole lot to say, but just wanted to kind of share that with you.
Thank you, bro. Mm-hmm. Hey, for the other two shares, Joyce and Julie. Again, if you feel as if you keep flowing back and forth to a person or not a person who has a sense of non-duality and a person who doesn't have a sense of non-duality, then, and there's a fear of death, just use the self-inquiry, yeah? And ask who it is that has the fear of death. If it isn't you, there'll be a loss of interest in that. And then there'll be a gaining of interest. There's no need for you to try to lose interest or gain interest. You'll watch it. Yeah. So a lot of times, I'm like a little kiosk on the side of the road. I'm selling cod, COD, fish. I'm not selling, and it's fresh. I'm not selling, frozen fish, mackerel, or salmon, or I'm not getting orders for future fish, and I'm not recollecting about past fish. I'm just selling cod, yeah, COD. You can grill it, you can sushi it, whatever you like, but you come back, I'm never going to give you, if you ask for cod, you're going to get cod. If you ask for other stuff, you're going to get nothing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, see, there was a thing Ramana Maharshi said. I heard it earlier when I came on. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I heard it in the circles, and it was about a lot of people that had been with him for many years. And if you don't know Ramana Maharshi, he's a man that lived in India. Of course, not a man, but think he passed away around 1950 or something. And I would look into some of his teachings. Yeah, there's people have written about him extensively. So he came in, these people were all sitting around who'd been with him for a while, and they were asking each other, do you think we could be a teacher, you know? And so he walked in, and so they decided to ask him, and he said, oh, definitely, all of you can teach, but I don't recommend it. And so they were a little confused about that answer, and they asked him why, and he says, well, compassion. And they were confused about that answer, and they asked him, well, can you please explain? He says, well, you'll be sitting in front of a group, and you'll feel compassion, and you'll dilute the message. Yes? To be of service to that person, as a person. Yeah? As the person, you would be of service to that person, but you may be at the same time diluting the message. Yeah? Now, because we're not that popular and we're very disorganized, and Zen Bitch Slap isn't like an international fucking non-profit corporation, I can stick to just selling cod. Yeah? And I also have the avenue to be helpful, which are the recovery meetings, because in that tribe, it's appropriate to share how someone could get out of self because they so thoroughly believe they're in self. Yes? But on this level, at this counter, it's just cod. Cod, cod, cod. Yes? I feel I went through a phase where I used philosophy as I would use a shovel. Yeah? I was trying to get out of an imaginary hole. And I thought the more I could know, the quicker I could dig myself out. But all I was doing was digging myself in because the subject was never fucking questioned. The assumed idea of being Paul, a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, was never questioned. Now, if I'm in that modality, then I need skillful means. When I'm entertaining the assumption I am what I'm looking for, skillful means may not be helpful. Yes? Just the way it goes. It matters, you know, it's like when in Rome you do as the Romans do, when in Istanbul you do as the Istanbulis do, you know, the Turks do. And we have this platform just to present cod. Cod, 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 cod. Yes? If I open up a deli and I'll have like 30 different fucking sandwiches, it'll be different. But this is just, I want to just keep bringing it back to the primary idea. You are what you're looking for. Yeah? The seeker is the sought. You may be trying to use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, all the while being the Buddha. To me, that's more important than getting help. Yeah? It's more important to hear that because some condition will keep us constantly trying to get help all day, thinking that we are at a pay scale that we're not at. So if we haven't been able to clear the debris that's causing us discomfort and unclarity viewing, then you probably won't be clearing it. Yes? And maybe you should turn it around and ask, who is it that seems to be blocking the fucking sunlight? Sorry, but I want to be clear about it. Yes? So I'm a very nice person outside the Zoom. But on Wednesday and Saturday, I'm going to be fucking, because I honor this message. And I want the message to be based on the message. Yeah? I don't want the message to be based on you or me. I want the message to be based on the message. It stands alone beautifully. It's the fact of what we are. Yeah, and it may not be able to be used to allow you to get out of shit here. Yeah? Well, then go to a tool store and get the right tools and then entertain the contextual idea of this. So maybe if there's not too much of an investment in a story, you'll start observing you're traveling lighter, basically, you know, against your own will, so to speak. Yeah? So, just want to be clear. Yeah.
So no
All right.
traveling light or just cod.
No, the traveling lighter stabilizes on a diet of cod.
Yeah. So just the cod. And Nick also had a good one that there's no escape because you have no legs.
Yeah, you can't escape from an imaginary place. All right, anyone else? No.
No other hands.
No, can I just ask you about what you just said, Paul?
I was just speaking because
No, I just wanted to say that if I heard you talking about death that's salmon. That's not cod.
well, no, because because when you're
it's kind of
talking about death, you're
Yeah.
assuming what never existed. See, this is the dilemma. Yeah, it's the dilemma. We want to our attention wants to go to topics, but the basis of where it's being directed from is what needs to be questioned. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just realized that starting with this topic and kept going, it's kind of what you've always said, and I think you said it even today, is you don't want to hear this message. This is not a message. This is not what you want to hear.
And that's the beautiful thing, because then you'll recognize what you're not is that which doesn't want to hear the message. And instead of assuming that you're that which doesn't want to hear the message, you'll use not wanting to hear the message to see you're not that. That's the point.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you for making this a big blow to my ego.
Well, basically, you asked for it.
Yeah, well.
And that's beautiful.
I got it.
Honey,
it doesn't matter.
the only way I can give a Zen bitch slap is I've been slapped upside my ass tons of times. Yeah. How are you gonna? Everywhere else you go, let's start at the assumption you're you, and then talk about what we need to do and don't do. But you come to this topic, and that's not it. That's not the basis of the platform. The platform is you're not that. Yeah. And so if this is let's say, if the seat assignment I find myself in is at the helm of the boat, I'm going to steer it that way. I don't want it to go into these tributaries and shit. Yeah. Because you can go and do that everywhere else.
I know.
There's so many people on the internet that want to help you. They do. They want you to be able to get through all the problems you have, and maybe never even address that there's the problem haver. Yeah, never even look at it. But this is a different fucking store.
Yeah.
You come in and there's nothing here. It smells some cod and it smells like cod, and basically that's it.
Yeah. So you leave your stories at the door.
No, you can have the stories because they're valuable to point out who's having the story. That's the point of it.
But we're not trying to solve the story or talk about the story or make a good ending or something.
No, I don't care about the story. But when the story is going on and there's an assumed character that's not being addressed, I wouldn't do this at a cafe if I'm talking to somebody, or if you're at my house. This is a platform.
Okay. Yeah.
And this platform, I honor the fucking message. I cannot express how much I do. And I don't, it's sort of like when one time I gave a talk and people came in and they were eating and shit like that. And I just said, hey, you got to stop eating, I mean, honor the fucking event a little bit. Yeah. And so this whole idea, you saw it. You saw how it was going out. The topic we were in, that the head that had that topic did not want to go and look at who's the one that's afraid of dying. They wanted to look at dying. Yeah. Yeah. There's tons of websites that you can go to look at dying. We want to question, who is it? Yeah, not quite. We do, yes.
No, thank you, Paul. I'm glad I asked the question just so I could get all this back. I really
You're welcome, honey. And I love you. I mean, I really appreciate you. And I know the fact of non-duality gets mixed up to the relative fact of going through what you go through as Joyce. Yeah,
a lot.
I see that. Yeah, I see that. You have to see non-duality as contextual. It's not going to come out and put air in your tires so you can get to the next gas station. It's contextual. It's a fact of this event, and it's questioning the factness of the dreaming. That's what it's doing. Yeah, it doesn't take away the need to find a pail of water when you believe your house is on fire. You better get that water. It's more valuable in that experience of your house on fire than that there is no house and there's no you and there's no fire. Yes? Yeah, it's a different thing. But this is what happened when I went to satsangs. I would hear people share and I could feel the energy. And then what happened is they'd have questions. And very frequently the question would be about relationships, and then the horses were out of the barn. Each person that got up would ask a question about relationship at a non-duality. It just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
It's sort of like going to a church to have a paint gun fucking thing. It's just inappropriate to me. So, and I would feel the energy of the room as soon as the horses got out of the barn. The character, because the first one got out, he couldn't get the rest of them back. Yeah,
Characters like to come out. Yeah.
yeah. So thanks, honey.
Yes, thanks, Joyce.
Thanks.
And Brian has his hand up. Oregon, I guess.
Hold on, Mike. One more thing. It's like in AA, I sponsor people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now they come over here, and they're friends of mine also. They're speaking about stuff and they're bitching about shit. And then the responsibility of being a sponsor kicks in, and I have to talk to them from that point. Yeah? Because they're missing the whole principle of recovery, which is reliance on something greater than self. But if I wasn't their sponsor, I would just listen to their story, hold the space, because that's what they need. They need someone to listen to their story. I would sit there and do that. But I have a job in their life, which is to point stuff out to them. Yes? Well, exact same thing here.
Tough love.
Well, it's not tough love. It's just sort of like I went to satsangs and it just went off the rails.
Yeah. No, I hate those.
So, yeah. All right. And of course, it has value because look at what's happening. But the point is, I don't know. Maybe I'm a traditionalist. I have a great honoring
You're not
of
a
this
traditionalist.
message. I have a great honoring of this message, and I want it to stay the way it is. I don't want it to be added onto or synthesized with another thing and make it into, non-duality real estate or shit like that. I just don't. Yeah. It's a fact. The assumption is, are you what you're looking for? If you don't agree with that, then the whole message is off in a sense. Yeah. At least have a suspicion that may be true.
It is funny to think of you as a traditionalist, though. They usually don't
Well,
sound
at
like.
this level, I am. Yes. Yeah.
No, I get that. Okay.
All right. So thanks.
Thanks again, Joyce.
Mike, anyone else?
Yes, Brian.
Sure. Hey, thanks for the cod, by the way.
Anytime.
More of an observation than anything else, and it came before popping in on a couple of these and just getting hits, as you'd say, as I'm picking up on what your language style is with those. And it was that when those hits came, it would generate laughter. It would just be a giggle. And I
Yep.
notice it with you particularly. You'll get a hit in these groups, or you'll just sit there, realize you're not, and you just glow and you just giggle. And John C. earlier tonight, I noticed the same thing. He was kind of getting it and sort of he wasn't there. And it was just
Yeah.
this laughter. And then in noticing that, I start to see, what it is about our society, or, our entertainment is a lot of comedians. And a lot of their act is negation. They sit there and they say, "Hey, you ain't that." Everybody laughs, and
Right.
it's just perfect. It seems. I think if you just notice when you're laughing, you're on to it.
Well, yes, it's a good indication for sure. Yeah. That's how that's how I come around to where I never left. Yeah, usually. It's hilarious, really, but
Right.
I mean, it's serious. Could you could you become like a philosopher, have a master's degree in informing lions that they're a lion? It seems hilarious to me. Yeah. 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 I feel the message it's a paring down. It's an economizing. All of those places that you thought were going to be full with knowledge are better empty. Yeah. It's just so whatever's coming can blow through it like a wind through a room with two windows open. Yeah. Yeah. Just traveling lighter. Yeah. Yeah. It's so it's not see, there's things going on. Yeah. There's things where I'm having a hard time traveling through it. And it's appropriate to get help with that, and a message that maybe will lead you, like the idea of, the guy, his house is on fire, he's a little on fire, and then you tell him where the pail of water is. But when the fire's out, you may just ask, hey, you're at a lot of fires, and then maybe you'll see the connection between him and fire. Who knows? But yes, so then there's a recognition of of what's going on, and then we don't see our role as what we're not in everything else. Yeah. The biggest role of a problem is the one who has it. Yeah. The biggest role of an experience is the one who's having it, the experiencer, seemingly. Yeah. We're so busy thinking we're all there is as a small, little, long-lasting, independent, separate entity, we don't realize that's the mental state mimicking what we really are. We are all there is, yeah? And we are, as the Course in Miracles says, not someone that's in a dream, not someone that's in someone else's dream, but the dreaming. We're the dreaming of this event, yeah? We're not the object that's in it, the dreamt, we're appearing as, but we are the dreaming itself. And as the Course in Miracles so beautifully puts, basically, you and I, as the dreaming, are giving everything all the meaning it has. Yeah. Talk about a subjective experience. How could you not believe that you're dreaming? Just look at the effects of placebos. Yeah. They can produce the same effect as the real medicine, because it's not the medicine that's affecting it. It's the dreaming, yes? And you're not going to...
And what does the placebo give you?
Hmm?
And what does the placebo give you?
It gives you a
prop. The lighter, carrying lighter.
Yeah, it gives you a prop to carry in the dreaming. So, yes. So the Course says it very beautifully. You and I are the dreaming of the dreaming. We forget, and we're going to dream ourselves out of the dreaming. And as we do, the dream will get happier. So how does someone dream themselves out of it? Through a placebo. Yeah. How do they dream themselves out of it? Through satsangs. Yeah. They're using the dreaming, which is this, to dream oneself out of the dreaming. Beautiful to me. Beautiful. Yeah. So that to me is the action figure's whole ride here. It's truly dreaming itself out of the dreaming. Yeah. And as we do, the dream gets happier. It doesn't mean you get everything you want. You travel lighter. Yeah. To whatever the dreaming has in store for you. Because it's not based on the conditions of the dreaming. Yeah. The dreamt isn't, your lightness is not based on the conditions in the dreamt, in the dreaming. It's based on us. Yeah. And us being always available at all times, you can rest assured that light's available. Yeah. This brings a lot of relief to that which can be totally unrelieved. Yeah. And it's very clear it had nothing to do with it. It didn't get the relief. It didn't acquire the relief. Somehow it observes the relief. Yeah. It expresses the relief. And it reflects on the relief, and it realizes something is doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. What a joy to get that clear, yeah? Yeah, and then move on, like someone said. Yeah, you know, you're gonna, yeah, the urban renewal project has been called off, but some of the workers keep coming. So now you have them build little temples or fucking whatever. You don't have to tell them they're fired. Yeah, they're meaningless. Give them a little purpose, all right? Not to conquer the world, but maybe paint the chair outside. Yeah, shit, yeah. So I hope it all gets through. I mean, yeah. All right. Thank you, my friend. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. And Satish is asking for a few minutes.
For a few minutes.
Yeah, he said in like a few minutes if we still have time.
All right. 1 minute. No. Where is he? Where is he? Satish? Where is he?
Raising my hand.
Yes, Satish. We can hear you.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
I think I'm fine, thank you. I've asked this before, and I guess I need to hear from you again. How do I do? You know, we talk about there is a you who is not, and there's a you who is.
Well, it's not a you who is.
Well, you said
That is.
Pardon me?
It's just is.
Yeah.
There's no who.
But in our conversation, you know, you talk about, you know, who look for who you are not from who you are, right? Something like that.
From what you are.
What you are. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Or who, whatever. Yeah.
So when I'm taking those different roles, right? Different times. How do I know which role I am in at the time, right?
Well, usually when you're in the what you're not role, it'll tell you. It won't tell you what you're not. It'll be there talking and yapping about what's seemingly happening. Yes? The moment when it's not there, it will still be there, yapping as if it's this, but there will be a lack of interest in it. Yeah? That's how you know. What?
So
that's how you know.
From the lack of interest?
That's what allows it to be seen, yes. Because it's sort of like if you felt two frequencies, you would be able to tell the difference in the vibrational thing, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But if you only think there's one frequency, you think that's it. Yes?
Yeah.
So now you're looking at almost like an algorithm and you're looking at it hopefully not from the algorithm. Yeah? And so when the algorithm sets off, like sort of like one time on Facebook or somewhere, I was looking for a hernia belt, and then the next day I had hernia belt ads all over the place. The algorithm picked up the interest and then sent me hernia things. Yeah? This is what happens. If the algorithm is called you, then it has a built-in interest. It's got a nice reserve bank account of your interest in it. It'll bring out the same old fucking products, and you'll buy them again. I'm the doer, I'm the thinker, I'm a this, I'm a that. Yes? What happens if you see the algorithm not from the algorithm? You're going to lose interest in the algorithm. You're going to be aware of your present tense state. And at your present tense state, you don't need a hernia. So you're not going to be interested in the hernia belt ads, are you? Even though the algorithm will continually put on the hernia belt ads, you're not going to buy any of them. Yeah, that's what it's like.
I would guess that I'm in the action figure mode most of the time.
No, you're not. You just think so. Your head thinks so. So what you're not thinks it's more in what you're not. Of course, why wouldn't it do that? That's its fucking primary programming, is to be you. So you're listening to what you're not, and it tells you you're in a whole lot of me all day. Of course. What do you think, it's going to tell you the truth? I'm sorry, Satish. I've been fooling you forever. I'm sorry. Let me make way for the great silence. Come in. Come through. No,
Right.
no.
So that tells me that I'm in that mode, right?
It's exactly that which says you're in it. It says you're in it more. The whole point is not to question the degree of more. It's to question, are you in it? If you're not in it, then there's no more or less going on. Do you see it? If you were in the act of becoming self, you would probably call it off. Yeah? But see, the selfing always implies you are a self already. You see? So the only way you can see that you're not a self is to try to become not a self, which reinforces the idea of self. Yeah?
Yeah.
When the head claims whatever's going on and it implies or presupposes the doer or the thinker, it's a historical doer or thinker. It isn't like, don't bother me, I'm in the act of becoming self. No, it says you were a self, you're gonna be a self, therefore you are a self. You don't see it? The robbery has already, it's sort of like coming to your house, yeah? And then thinking it's already, getting to your house and thinking it's already robbed. So when the robbery continues, you never call the cops or anything like that because you think it already happened. No. There's whatever's happening is happening. It's claimed by the mental state, not you. You are not the mental state. It's claimed by a mental activity to imply a you, which is of the mental activity. Not of I am that I am. It's I was, therefore I will be. Yeah? It's the I was, I will be, therefore I am. It's made up. But the problem is you never see it being made up. You think it's already so when you come to. That's why we're sharing it. We're sharing about selfing so you can see it before it produces its product. Because if you keep looking at it, if you keep seeing it from the product, that's looking from it. It's already succeeded. Yeah? Mm-hmm. You're trying now to get out of what you think you're in, and you're not in it. That's why it's not working. You can get out of a room that you're in. I can walk out of here, and I'll be in the living room. You can't get out of what you're not in. You're trying to get out of what you're not in. You're identified as a self trying to get out of self. That's the problem.
I'm just trying to figure out when I am in which, you know.
That's what you're not. Don't try to figure it out. Have faith in the process. Yeah? If you hit this, if you have a resonance of this and you doubt it, you're never going to have faith in anything. Because this is it. Yeah? For me, it was an unspoken yes. Yeah, this idea of doubting and fooling yourself, yes, that happens. But at this point, have faith in that process. It's not a process. Have faith in that. Take a sound, Satish. Take it back as far as you can in you. And you're still there and you're not a sound. Yeah? You're not a thing. You're not a thought. You're not an action. We're listening to a narration in 2020, and it's based on the fact that you were there in 2018. Yeah? So you're already believing the thing it's trying to sell you. Now you get all the accessory, all the action figures to go with it, and now you're playing the role of trying to get out of what you're not in. You came to hear, and this is what you're going to hear. This is it. What thinks it's hard to get out of it, out of the system, is the system. You were never in the system. That's the beauty of the message. It's a fact. It's not a forthcoming event totally based on what you or don't do. It's a fact. You have nothing to do with it. You are it. If you don't believe that or don't have a suspicion of that, then shop at another store. And then and hope that you can do enough shit to arrive somewhere that you think is not where you are. A special, unique, all there is somewhere. But you're it. Yeah. Like it or not. Not as what we're traveling seemingly as Paul, obviously. But you're it. We talk about this. The main ingredient of the dreaming, the main ingredient of this little mental trick is time. Ramana says it beautifully. There's a pre. Pre means before. Before and after is of time. Yes? Something comes before, something comes after. That's of time. A presupposing. So the assumption is of time. So the assumption is that it's already so. So when you swallow the assumption of the non-existent thing being existing, you're starting at it being existing. You don't see the non-existence of it. You're seeing it as existing. And then it makes sense because you're fucking bummed out and nothing's working to seek salvation for it. Yeah? That's the realm of skillful means. The realm of non-duality is before that. Before that. To see the assumption of a non-existent thing to be that which is existing. That's it. Yeah? After that, fucking ladders, ropes, escalators to get out of the imaginary hole. Before that, you were never in the fucking hole. Yeah? And when you're in the act of thinking you're in the hole, you have enough skillful means around the house, you pick up the shovel, make some act out, and then it all dissipates and you're feeling chilled out again. But what's going to project that as a more common occurrence is not the shovel and not your understanding, it's the fact of what you are. If you believe the fact of what you are is a long-lasting, independent, separate thing, if that's where you're starting from, you should really be shopping at fucking skillful means stores. If you have an assumption that you're not that, you can still shop at skillful means stores and take care of the person you're not, because there's nothing wrong with that, but have an understanding you're not that. Yeah? But if you're in the world of the non-existent thing being existing, and you're taking it to be real, and you're going to try to starve yourself and not go to the hardware store because of some philosophy of non-duality, you've missed the whole point. This is not a religion. It's not based on belief. The idea got in, it was unsettling, and then things settled in. And then you started seeing things in a new light. And then you responded to those observations, and more got revealed. And that answer, that unspoken yes, gets reinforced by all the observations, not with tons of advertising, but clear, concise seeing, not of time, in timelessness. And then the statements of the great masters make a certain sense. Yeah, you see the unbelievable efficiency of you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. You see it so clearly. So yeah, there you have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adish.
I think we're going to end soon. What time is it?
It is 8:38.
8:38. All right, we can do another one if you like.
There's no other hands up. Nothing in chat. Rami said she loves cod. And Gary too.
Thanks for the cod.
Yes, they're on a strict cod diet. Yes. Yes. People who like cod tend to laugh a lot. There you go. It may be the fucking whatever that oil is. All right, let me say goodbye to everybody, if I can. Hey?
Okay.
Nice to see you, Nick. Nice to see you, Mike. I'm sitting up straight, not because I'm trying to let the Kundalini flow. I got a bad crook in my neck.
Damn it.
I slept wrong. Who slept wrong? Yeah, it's killing me. Ah. All right. Mary, nice to see you, Mary. You got your hair cut, eh? You going short now? Yeah, looking stylish. That's good. I would rather keep it long in the winter, short in the summer, but hey, that's just me. All right, we got Susan. Nice to see you, Susan. You're up above sea level now. That's nice. Sanda, lovely person from India. Sanda. All right. We've got George from the Void. Yes. Isn't that going to be nice? Everyone's so afraid of entering the void, but when they enter the void, they're going to meet George. It'll be nice and calm. Yes, that'll be great, George. You're the doorman of the void. We got John K. Nice to see you, John. John, you know that spool of the mind is loosening up. Yeah, let the threads go where they may. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Fritz, as always, he's got his Star Trek little thing on there. Nice to see you, Fritz.
Have you met John?
I may be going down south at Thanksgiving.
Like poetic.
Cool. Well, let me know.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you know. I may be going down there next week. All right, and we'll have the Zooms and everything, so you won't miss anything. Jack G, nice to see you, Jack. Yeah, George, hold on. We got Kenneth. Nice to see you, Kenneth. Pleasure. Mark Vaccaro. Nice to see you, Brian. Oregon. Pleasure, Brian. Thanks for the share. Julie, as always, Julie, take it easy. I'll see you soon, eh? Yes. Gary C. He's living in a big corner now. It's nice. And we got, what is this? Doreen and Dyer? Doreen and Dyer. Nice to see you too. Hey, if you have any kind of music or something, you can email stuff, and we're going to start having a playlist of people who have music on the website. Brandon is here. We have Nick, and we've got a couple of songs. So if I don't know if you're a musician or whatever, but also poetry or anything. We got Mike's iPad. Nice to see you, Mike. Brandon, oh, there's Brandon. I like that song, Brandon, a lot. It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
very cool. We got Raven. Nice to see you, Raven. Where are you, Raven?
I'm in British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, I like it up there. Vancouver Island?
No, I'm at the bottom,
Oh, all right.
other side.
Nice to see you.
You too.
You know the Okanagan?
Yeah, it's nice.
You know, I did a talk in AA there once, a young people's convention, like about 4,000. And on the plane, I got that tube in your inner ear got blocked.
Yeah.
So I had to do 4 talks, and I sounded like all you could hear is inside your head, like a broken speaker. It was like hell. So they tried to use the little cone. They had me upside down. We couldn't I couldn't hear. It was unbelievable. Just want to throw that in there. See ya.
Bye.
All right, we got Raja. Raja, nice to see you, Raj. We got John R. John R., you don't even have to talk to me. You're fine. Yeah? Yeah. Yariv. Richard, no killing this week, all right?
Hey,
Chill.
by the way, Paul, we got a guy named Emerson asked me to pass a message along to you. He wants to pitch a retreat that you could host. Some guy named Emerson.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I retreat on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. My blog that will be retreat from Zoom.
Guns are clean, by the way.
What? Oh, I think good. Yeah. I think after Thanksgiving, I'm going to need a few people. Yeah. We got Susanna, my dear friend. Susanna with her cat. We got Julian. Hey, Julian. How are you? Oh, there's another one. There's two people there. Hey, Julian, if you do any songs, send it to Mike on the playlist.
Okay, I got one coming for him.
All right, good. Johannes, as always, nice to see you, Johannes. Yeah. Sanda again. We got Yariv. I talked to Yariv. Yariv, you gave up on the white today.
White.
Good. Yeah.
Wow. Take a picture.
We got let's see, Joyce. Nice to see you, Joyce. Take it easy in that boat. Keith, Thomas, Mark. That's an interesting picture. And that's about it. So thank everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all. And I'll see you on Saturday, I hope, or recovery is tomorrow. Oh, there's Mark. I didn't see you, and Thomas and Keith. Keith, as always. Yeah, so we'll be there tomorrow and Saturday and on and on. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.